You people don't know about it. I know about it.
I'm going to talk
Oh,
about
you're
it,
going
yes,
through it?
I was,
Okay.
okay. The furnace, Gary says, is right here. It's from the front to the back. And when you open the door, it's white hot. It's so hot you can hardly imagine how hot it is. And what's the purpose of all that heat?
To burn off our old stories.
To burn off our old stories. I thought that my story was victim. And so that's how I lived my life. I found people who would put me in that place and I go, well, there you go. And I found relationships that, well, there you go. See, that's, my identity was the victim. And the first time somebody said to me on a retreat, you're not your story, it was like, well, if I'm not my story, who am I? If I give up my story, I'll disappear. And I meant that literally. And yet it has been years going, why is my life like this? Why can't I seem to change it? We have a member of our family that doesn't believe we support her. And so it's been interesting to watch that we'll be in a situation and all of a sudden she turns it around and you're going, whoa. And what she's doing is keeping that story going that we don't support her. It used to make me nuts. I'd say, what's going on here? And then it came to me, she's keeping that story alive. So our stories are what's holding us back. If you wonder why your life isn't changing and how to make a difference, take a look at your stories. In your stories, you're going to see patterns. This fascinated me also. Wow, I've been doing this in various shapes and forms and scenarios for a long, long time. So like I say, when the person first said to me, you're not your story, that just was overwhelming to me. I could see myself just disappearing, like poof. And so when Gary works with us and we put these stories in the furnace, and I'll say, oh, do it 100%. I want it all gone. And he'll say, no, you won't be here. Your identity will not be here because that had become my identity. So we burn this off in layers, so to speak. So there may be a story that you burn in the furnace tonight, a little piece of it or a portion of it may come up again. Just stick it in there again and finish it off. So this is about releasing our stories because they're the things that are holding us back from the way we were intended to live. We all have a purpose, we all have a destiny, and the stories are standing in our way. And they're subconscious. We're not aware of them on a conscious level. But we keep them going, we feed them. That's what I do. So we visualize the furnace, it's right here. And we open the door, we put the story in, we close that door, and it's incinerated. And I used to say to Gary, well, there's a couple cinders left. And he said, no, that's not going to work. We don't want cinders. We don't want a little ash. We don't want a little puff of smoke. We want it to be clean, clear, evaporated, vaporized, as he would say. And so when this happens, we're able to take that space, because stories occupy space in our bodies and in our psyche. And we're able to replace that with what is in our highest good, what our destiny is for our life. All right. So I know I'm moving pretty quickly, but if there are no questions, we'll move on. Now we're drawing our prosperity circle. We've done our furnace, we've burned our stories, we've given space in ourselves for who we really are. If we know who we really are, then we know our purpose and our destiny. That has been a lifelong journey for me. All right, we're drawing our prosperity circle. And what is prosperity about for us that we've learned in these classes?
Oh, I didn't learn anything in this class. I was
No,
gonna say
what
knowledge.
do you think it is?
Oh, I mean, it's a knowledge of yourself. That's the knowledge of yourself and stuff and everything that's going on. I would have to say the elemental, the non-elemental, that's like it's your prosperity.
Okay.
You know, it
Does
overcomes the money.
health
and
have
everything.
anything to do with that?
Yes, I mean, it's very
Yes.
part of it, yes.
How about wealth?
Yes.
Most people who say prosperity, it's all about money.
No, no.
Well,
Relation.
how about relationships? Yes, health, wealth, relationships, and Gary gave me one more to remind you of. Time. Remember, you have enough time. Time is not your enemy. And in this society, time is always like breathing down our neck. And I've learned when I'm in the car and I'm late, or it appears that I'm going to be late, I keep saying, I have enough time. God's giving me enough time. Yes.
I left my job and I looked at the GPS and I said I had 22 minutes to get here, but I only had about 17 minutes to actually be here. So I calmed down and I was thankful for having enough time to get here, and I got no 4 minutes ahead.
Perfect example. Yay. Okay. Now, Roger.
On the subject of prosperity and time, I'm sure most of you know who Ross Perot is, one of the wealthiest people in the Dallas area. But when I was in the corporate world and was frustrated one day, a guy walked up to me and says, Roger, what do you and Ross Perot have in common? Nothing. I don't have any in common with him. You have a 24-hour day. What are you doing with yours?
Thank you, Roger. Perfect. Thanks. I shook Ross Perot's hand, totally unexpectedly, at a concert. And I took that, I thanked him for what he'd done, and he was holding the door, and I walked through the door, and I realized it was him, and I stuck my hand out, which is not typically what I would do. I would run by and say, I think I saw Ross Perot. And I took that as a blessing. I said, there you go. You know, that man is very determined, talk about action. Not thinking about things, but taking action. And he has made the world a better place. Okay, now we're in our prosperity circle with health, wealth, relationship, and time. And we're going to bring our energetic self to the circle. Who remembers about the energetic self? Somebody who hasn't spoken? All right. Who had their hand up there? Energetic self.
It's really difficult to define
Well,
in words. I'm just in my head all about that.
can I help you according to this group?
Yes.
Did you want to help him?
It's when you're imagining only your energy and you're working on feeling it all being light. You clear out you just kind of focus on yourself as a pure energy and just keep focusing till all the darkness is cleared and you're purely white, and then you bring that in. That's where you sit there.
Yes, and we talked about in this class, it's our brain, our heart, and our spirit are aligned. That's our simple, very simple explanation. Yes?
You can't eliminate the darkness though. Light and dark, they interact, so why does everybody keep trying to throw the darkness away? I don't understand.
You're getting them out of your sphere. It's not that they're
Are
gone.
you talking about?
The energetic self ends up being in your sphere. So you're getting all the darkness.
I guess because I see things in a different light and everything, that's why I'm trying to figure out what this darkness is, because when I go to bed at night, it's dark. And when
Exactly.
you know what I'm
I don't
saying?
argue with that.
Right, no, so I'm trying to understand and my complexion, I'm
Yeah,
darker than anybody else, so.
Marco has a comment. When we do this exercise, I think it'll become clearer.
It's the way I see it with light and dark, and just in general, it's duality, in the sense
yin
that
and yang?
there's the yin yang duality concept. There's always an opposite, an opposing thing to anything else that's in existence. So within that realm, there usually comes conflict, and it's very difficult to figure out within that realm exactly where your higher self, energetic self, exists.
Right.
Because there's constant pull one way or the other. So the idea of yin yang is really more of a balance. The Buddha's middle step,
Right, I mean,
middle road. It's just that balancing concept of eliminating both sides and allowing truth, which is a very difficult word when we're talking in a lot of different truths in words. But, you know, just truth in general should be, it actually is a common denominator with all of existence. There's an underlying truth that makes us be, and it's getting in tune with that within yourself, which will take you to that higher place. And that's just the way I see it. as
Yeah,
far as
so I have to
allowing
eliminate
dark
the darkness, right?
into- No, not darkness is part of it.
I'm just wondering, because I keep seeing it, I'm like,
It's finding the way.
because it's.
Quickly.
To me, it's just realizing that though the yin and yang has two sides, it is one circle.
Yeah, so it'd be a great color.
Well, it is, it has two sides.
No, I'm not
to
trying to be
different
funny, but when you
views.
mix them together.
You don't even have to mix them together, but you realize that all it is actually the same.
All right, now, we were talking about people who may be hard to love, who may be coworkers, who may challenge us on many levels. So here's the spot where we're going to put those people. We're going to bring ourselves into the prosperity circle. And we're going to bring all those people, people we work with, people we meet on the street, family members. We're going to bring every one of them into this circle. And why are we doing that?
Praise their
To
consciousness.
praise them.
To praise them, which raises their consciousness, which blesses them. So when we're doing the exercise, I want you to think of sometimes people I would never think of come into my consciousness to put in that prosperity circle. And as a result, there's healing between the two of us. We're both healed. And relationships shift. Okay, so we're going to bring all those people into the circle. We're going to praise them. We're going to praise ourselves. Don't forget to praise yourself. Don't forget to take care of yourself. And we're going to do some chakra balancing, which always helps us. And tonight, Marco is going to help us work with colors. So he's going to explain something now, and then when we do the meditation, we'll incorporate that into the fourth step. Okay, this prosperity circle is about being in the light. And we can shower each other with gold dust. Gold is valuable. We can use a liquid gold, however you want to do it. If it's just pure light that you want to bring to yourself and to other people. But tonight we're going to be lucky, we're fortunate enough, blessed enough, for Marco to help us do some color work. So Marco, you want to explain a little bit about that?
Thank you. Appreciate it. So I've been working here at InnerRx with Gary Berman for a few months. And time is dwindling down, as you see our evenings
Yes,
ending.
it
is.
So, but
We're going to have time
this is
for
going to be
everything.
okay. Really, I just want to give you some very basic ideas as far as colors, like Sandra was saying. The gold, when you get into the prosperity circle and sprinkling gold dust or gold liquid and adding value to that and giving it to people, that's the perfect place to go ahead and keep on vibrating into other colors. So to begin with, this is about chakra balancing, the balancing act that we were talking about earlier. And has anybody in here experienced with chakra balancing or meditation at all? Okay, so we have a few probably experts and some people aren't. That's cool. So this technique here is really about intensifying your here now presence. And that is you, right here, right now. There's nothing else besides you right here, right now. And the here now presence has to do with, let's say, your sensational brain, spinal cord, antenna. That's how you're getting your consciousness now. There's a stream of energy that's running through you, and it's giving you life. It's what you're all about. It's usable, it's portable. It's what's happening. So with this color meditation, there were a few handouts. Just run through this real quick. There's some colors that are going up the spinal column and going up into the brain. Real basic stuff. It's just an idea to give you something to think about while you're moving along. These are 7 spectrum colors of the very natural phenomenon that come like in a rainbow through the water. Anytime white light hits something that's got that type of value in it, it'll give you some sort of a spectrum, and these are the colors. Along with that handout came a real basic 7 spectrum color guide. It gives you kind of some meanings behind it. Now this guide is Tibetan. It comes from the Tibetan people and their experiences and beliefs as to the colors in the phenomenal world. So it's real simple, 7 colors, and then the one additional color at the end is white, the white light that you need. We keep getting into that. So anyways, moving on with that, let's just get into how this works. So the way it works is you're synchronizing your breathing with it. Breathing is your connection to the life-giving energy. So as you breathe in, Sandra was talking about an elliptical image of energy coming in through your head, going down through your feet and coming around. Well, the breathing is the same. I call it an orbital pattern. So when you breathe in, it'll come in the nose and go over the brain, around the top chakra here, over the crown of the head, going down the back into your tailbone, and then coming out the front of the body. So you're thinking of an orbital pattern. Now, every time you breathe, this is just the way I do it. It's not necessarily set in stone. You can take it as far as you want. I'm sure you're so creative in here, you could probably come up with a million ideas behind all this. But what I like to do is take in, like, let's say I'm going to the root chakra, which is on the diagram very at the tailbone. Let's say the lower back sacrum area. So you'll take a sphere of glowing orange at that point, sending out the orange light to the world and letting that just flow into the universe. Go as far as you like, as far as your consciousness allows you to go, you send it. Consistently raising the levels of vibrations in the whole universe, and let that voice be heard. There's a voice, there's a hidden voice in all of you. It's happening. Everything you're thinking, everything if it's just chatter in the mind, if it's visuals in the mind, whatever it may be, it's being created. You have that within your power in the brain. So you're sending out this orange color. Next, just below the navel, coming up, there's another color there. Breathing in yellow, making that sphere of yellow light and sending out yellow. And going on up into all the chakras. Next being the throat, a lot of expression happening here. You breathe in like a light blue, sky blue color. Let the throat sphere be blue, and then send that out. So going on into the indigo, which is really just a darker blue. And this really, it's all in the process of helping to balance your own energy. It's something that should be simple. It helps you to visualize and make your mind sharper. You can use anything you want. You're not limited here. It's just a really simple guide that is universal in nature, and something that I wanted to share tonight. In fact, I wasn't really ready for this tonight. Gary, I was in a session with Gary last week, and I was just lying there, and he came in the room. He was doing some therapy, some pioneering therapy on me, and you know how full his ideas are just off the charts. So, and he just, I guess he's so intuitive, he must have seen the colors in the room or something. He's like, and I told him, yeah, I was just going through the color meditation, and he just mentioned, you know, would you like to give some color ideas to the group and add it to the goal at the end of the meditation process? And it's already 8:30 now. We should end this. So that's all I have for you, really. It's just something to add if you want to add more power and depth to your own meditation in your house. Just something to share.
Thank you. We are going to close with practicing this meditation. If someone has to leave at 8:30, I totally understand. You can go ahead and excuse yourself. If not, this is not going to take too long. But we need the practice, so when we leave this room, we can take the action. All right? So make yourself comfortable, move your chair.